The World Cup is the biggest sporting event on the planet. Every 4 years, billions of people watch the greatest players compete for football's most famous trophy. But behind the goals, celebrations, and unforgettable moments, there is another competition happening. A competition measured in billions of dollars. Today, we are looking at the cost of every World Cup since 1990 and discovering which tournaments created a lasting legacy and which ones became financial disasters, starting off with 1990. Italy's 1990 World Cup cost around $4 billion. Unlike many future hosts, Italy already had a strong football infrastructure. The country renovated famous stadiums rather than building everything from scratch. The tournament gave fans legendary moments, from Maradona's Argentina to West Germany winning the trophy. But Italy also showed an early World Cup problem. A stadium built for a tournament can become expensive to maintain afterward. A venue that is perfect for a World Cup final may not make financial sense for regular club football. The 1994 World Cup in the United States took a completely different approach. Instead of spending billions on new stadiums, organizers used existing American football stadiums. The estimated cost was only around $500 million. The result? A huge success. The tournament attracted almost 3.6 million fans, still one of the highest attendance figures in World Cup history. The final at the Rose Bowl had more than 90,000 spectators. The USA proved something important. A successful World Cup does not always require massive construction projects. Sometimes the smartest investment is using what already exists. France spent around $2 billion hosting the 1998 World Cup. The biggest project was the construction of the Stade de France. Unlike some future stadium projects, this venue had a clear long-term purpose. It became France's national stadium and continued hosting major sporting events. The tournament itself became historic. France won its first World Cup, defeating Brazil in the final. Financially, France showed that spending money can work when the projects have value beyond football's biggest month. The first World Cup held in Asia was also one of the most expensive at the time. South Korea and Japan spent around $7 billion on stadiums and infrastructure. The tournament was unforgettable. Brazil won their fifth World Cup. South Korea shocked the world by reaching the semifinals. But after the tournament, a familiar problem appeared. Many stadiums were built with huge capacities but struggled to attract enough fans afterward. The lesson was clear. A stadium can look amazing during the World Cup, but what happens when the tournament leaves? Germany 2006 is often considered one of the best examples of World Cup planning. The country spent around $4.5 billion, mainly upgrading existing stadiums and infrastructure. Germany already had strong football culture and professional stadiums. The tournament became famous for the incredible atmosphere and the summer fairy tale feeling. More importantly, many investments continued to benefit the country afterward. Germany showed that successful hosting is not about spending the most money, it is about spending wisely. South Africa made history in 2010 by becoming the first African country to host the World Cup. The country invested around $3.6 billion in stadiums, transport, and infrastructure. The tournament created unforgettable memories. Spain won their first World Cup. The Vuvuzela became a global symbol. Millions saw African football on the biggest stage. But financially, South Africa faced challenges. Some stadiums struggled to find regular use after the tournament. The event created pride and global attention, but questions remained about the long-term financial return. Brazil's World Cup was one of the most expensive ever. The country spent around $15 billion. The football was incredible. Germany defeated Brazil 7-1 in one of the most shocking matches in World Cup history. Argentina reached the final. Germany won the trophy with Mario Götze's extra-time goal. But away from the pitch, Brazil's spending created controversy. Several stadiums became difficult to justify after the tournament, especially venues in cities without major football demand. Brazil showed that a World Cup can create unforgettable memories while still raising serious financial questions. Russia spent around $14 billion preparing for the 2018 World Cup. The country built and renovated stadiums across a huge territory. The tournament itself was widely praised. The organization was smooth. Fans enjoyed a welcoming atmosphere. But once again, the biggest challenge was long-term stadium usage. Maintaining expensive venues after the World Cup remains one of football's biggest financial problems. Qatar's World Cup was unlike any tournament before. The country built new stadiums, a metro system, roads, hotels, and entire areas of development. When including wider infrastructure projects, the total spending reached more than $200 billion. The tournament itself delivered unforgettable football. Argentina won the title. Lionel Messi completed his World Cup story. The final became one of the greatest matches ever played. But Qatar also created major debates about the cost, sustainability, and the long-term purpose of such enormous investments.